Jeff,
Yes, sir.
just what did it feel like to be out back at practice and around your team and being able to yell at the people that you wanted to yell at?
Well, for sure, it feels great to be back. It seems like I was gone forever, so it's good to be around the guys, the coaches, and the team. Get back to football and competing every week. So I'm looking forward to it.
Have you reached out to Paul Chris at all?
You know what? No, I haven't. I know from what I read, it looked like he didn't have any symptoms, so that's good for him. And every case is different, and I'm not sure what exactly is going on there. I know they've been hit a little bit with it, and they've had to pause, but I'm sure they'll be able to regroup here soon.
Player I wanted to ask you about, but I forgot on Monday, was Marvin Grant. I don't think he played in the game on Saturday. Kind of what's his status?
Well, he's healthy and ready to play. He's right on the edge of getting in there. He's made good strides. I can see over the course of the next few weeks we're getting to putting him in and rotate him in. But, of course, our guys got to earn their stripes. But he's definitely made improvements, and we're looking forward to sooner than later getting him on the field.
Just a couple updates on like King Giroux and Cam Craig. What do you think their status will be for Saturday?
Well, I'll let you guys know more tomorrow on some of those guys. We'll have a handful of guys that'll be game time decisions like we have. But Cam Craig will definitely be out for a while.
Okay. Who slides into his spot?
Well, Spencer Hosted is going to will start on that spot. Gus Hartwood will rotate in there, and then Mark Stickford as well.
Just going back and watching the game, Gus seemed to struggle a little bit with the snaps. Is that something that got worked on this week a little bit more than normal?
Well, we have, and we had a few struggles there. I think Gus can continue to get better at that. It was his first game. The snapping aspect is what some people think is a simple procedure, but really, you got to work on it. I know Sam Garvin, when it comes to purely snapping the ball, is the most consistent guy we have. He's precise. He snaps it on time. He's got good velocity. It puts it in a good spot. Spencer and Gus, have a few moments here and there where it's not as consistent, and I think that's just part of playing more and getting used to it.
Tom had asked Aiden O'Connell earlier in the week about if you guys had done anything special with the quarterbacks to protect them from having any kind of outbreak with COVID, and based on what happened at Wisconsin this week where multiple quarterbacks came down with it. Did you guys do something to maybe overprotect your quarterbacks and keep them from trying to get the virus?
Well, just some of the simple things that we've done, and Brian's one of the better ones that fallen through on this, but just purely mask wearing anytime we're in the building, anytime we're in a meeting room. The quarterbacks, actually, we moved them to the former offensive line meeting room, so they're spaced out and wearing masks in meetings. And then, of course, when it comes to roommates, we've been able to adjust that to make sure that if one was unfortunately contacted the virus, hopefully no one will be contact traced.
All right. That's it for now. Thank you.
Okay, Tom Dienhart, go ahead.
So I guess Jeff Rondell will be a guy we wait on tomorrow.
Yeah, I think we'll know more tomorrow on a handful of guys, and hopefully have a decision by then.
Okay, and then you said earlier Tyler Coyle will be out for a while, right? He's not going to be back Saturday.
That is correct.
Okay. Hey, as far as traveling to Champaign, Jeff, are you guys doing anything different? Are you taking more buses than usual? And how many players are you taking to Champaign with you?
Well, we're going to take really the normal amount of people that we would. That'll help us win a football game. And, we try to keep numbers down on that, but at the same time, we have to take, who we need. So we're going to be under the allotment the max that you can carry. And, yes, we'll definitely have a few more buses than we normally do. We're having some meetings here before we leave that we would normally have at the hotel due to restrictions in the state of Illinois of not having a group bigger than 50 people in a room. So there are some things when it comes to meals and meetings that we were having to adjust.
Can you say how many guys you're taking over there?
You know what? I don't know the number off the top of my head. I think it's going to be around 70.
Around 70. And how many do you typically take?
Well, I think you can take, don't quote me on this. I know Greg has the number. I think either a max of 74 or 75 maybe.
So it's not a big difference really then.
No, we've taken less. We've got a few people that we don't know for sure if they're going to be able to play, so we've got to get some backups ready. So we've had to take a few more actually than we would like to.
Hey, given what's happened in Wisconsin, Jeff, are you concerned you're going to be able to get 9 games in 9 weeks?
Well, you never know really how things are going to play out. Just from an outside perspective, I feel like when Wisconsin's ready to play, they'll play, and I have full confidence in that. I know their state's being hit hard, and they got a little outbreak amongst the team and staff. We're doing the daily testing in our conference compared to others. We're, hopefully everyone's using the mask and spacing things out as much as you can, and you just hope that, some of your guys don't get it. I think the unfortunate part is, what they do from away from the facility and how contagious this is what can get you. And I know firsthand with the fact that, my family was infected, and I tried to do everything I could to stay away. And unfortunately, it didn't work for me. So I didn't do a good enough job.
Hey, when are the players last tested before game time? Is it like 24 hours before kickoff, or typically when does that last test take place?
Well, with a normal afternoon or evening game, it's the day of the game. We'll have the last test. I think since our game is 11 a.m. Local, we are going to get tested the night before. But in a normal situation, it'll be the day of the game.
Interesting. Okay. And just about Illinois, last time you went over to Jeff, you handled them pretty good. Just give us your quick assessment of the Illini.
Well, that was 2 years ago. Last year, they handled us very good. And you know what? Looking at their team last year, they took a lot of transfers. They definitely, had better personnel, and they played hard, and they were well coached. They did a very good job. I think when you look at them this year, everyone wants to take one game, but, Wisconsin on the road, the first game of the season is a tough opponent. That's a tough matchup, and if you get behind early to them, the game's going to be hard to win. So, I know Illinois has a lot of beef up front. They have good linebackers that are active. They play downhill. They get in front of all your receivers, whether it's the corner or the nickel or the outside backer. They got 2 safeties behind it. You have to find ways to run the ball. You have to find ways to hit it down the middle. You've got to find ways to not turn the ball over. They always lead the country in turnovers. They get their ass on the quarterback. They're aggressive, and they definitely are an improved team from 2 years ago. And last year they showed that they could play and compete with the big boys. And, from a defensive standpoint, we've got to get turnovers ourselves. Offensively, they're going to run the ball. Their quarterback's athletic. He's going to pull it and run, get yards. He did against Wisconsin. They just got down. So I guarantee you they're going to be a tough opponent. And if we don't come ready to play, it'll be another long day for us.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thanks.
Okay, Raymond with the exponent.
Hi, Coach. You mentioned Peters. Despite their result last week, they were able to get yards on the ground, particularly Peters escaping the pocket, escaping sacks. How do you contain that?
Well, we've worked hard this week to do that. I think Brandon has played a lot of football. He can throw the ball, and he's athletic enough to run, and, he's got good speed. So between their running game, they have an experienced offensive line. They have a quarterback who can run as well. We've got to be disciplined and know where the ball is at all times, find ways to stop the run, make them throw more than they like, and find ways to get turnovers. So our defense will have their hands full, and we've got to play a good, sound, physical football game.
Speaking of tightening up, I think one of the downsides of last week's win, you guys had 10 penalties. Is that a symptom of sort of, the variables occurring with this season? And how do you tighten up going forward and into the game?
Well, I think you may have your stats wrong. I think it was Iowa that had all the penalties. I believe we only had 3 penalties for 25 yards. So knock on wood, if we could do that again, that would be tremendous. Iowa's the one that kind of beat themselves last week with penalties. And every game's different. They had some unfortunate penalties, a couple face masks that got them, and a few false starts that hurt them and set them back. those are the things you don't want to do. So without question, that was a big difference in the game last week against Iowa. They're the ones that had more penalties. So without question, we've got to win that battle again this week, or we're going to be the one fighting an uphill battle.
And then, David Bell had a huge game. I think he had 21 or so targets out of the 50 passes thrown. How big has he been, and how integral is he in the offense going into this week?
Well, David brings it every week. He's a big part of this team. He loves to compete. Every game you can count on him. We've got to make sure he continues to get balls thrown his way, and we got to target him. I'm sure they're going to do numerous things to take him away and bracket him and things like that. But others got to emerge, and I think you saw Milton Wright definitely made great progress the past game. Xander Horvath was a load for us and got better as the game went on. Payne Durham was pretty consistent. Like to get a little bit more out of him, but he was pretty consistent and he plays tough. And then you like for the Malik Carrs and the Ahmad Andersons and Jared Sparks and those guys to step up and make plays as well.
Thank you, Coach.
Yes.
Okay, do we have anybody else that needs a follow-up or anybody else on the line that I missed?
I have a follow-up.
Mike?
Exponent had a story earlier in the week that Tariq Murphy was cited from illegal substance. What's his status with the team?
Well, he's going to be disciplined internally, and it's unfortunate. He's a good young kid, and I know he'll learn from this big mistake, and we'll make sure that he learns from it.
All right. And how will Coco react without you being in the house on Saturday?
That's a good one. Well, I'm sure she'll be fine. Even though I think I treat her well, I'm sure she doesn't think the same. But I need to get out of the house and get back to normal.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Coach. All right, guys, just to follow up here real quick.